Hi, my name's Colin. Welcome to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, let's get started. Hello and welcome to Paint Watercolours with me, Colin. What I've picked here now is from a photograph and Paint My Photo, and it's a picture of Slaters Bridge, and we'll get started on it straight away. This is something you could paint with a friend. I've got the board laying flat. This is areoling, and I'm just going to put that in the bottom half of the sky. Because the paper is wet and I do a lot of wetting to wet, this will fade a lot lighter. We just want to drop in a weak wash of violet, and this is a mixture of violets and ultramarine, straight on the top. As you can see, it looks a bit stronger. Bring it down to meet the violets. Aurelian down here. Just encourage it. This is Aurelian and violet. I'm just going to drop that in. Soften into the Aurelian. Straightforward Aurelian again. Then into that we're just going to drop some, once again, Aurelian and violet. Just streak it in places, bring it down to the shoreline. Just sort of feather it in. I'm going to leave that to dry a moment, and then we'll take some clouds out. Okay, some of the shine's gone off the paper in the sky, so what we can do is we can just pull out some soft clouds. Okay, now that this sky area is dry, I just want to put this background hill in here, and I'm just wetting it right up to the pencil line. Bringing it slowly down. Some more Aurelian. This is the Aurelian and violet. And we don't want this too strong either, so I mean that's a bit strong at the moment. And a smaller brush. We shall bring it down. A little touch of grey, cobalt blue and burnt umber. Just where you think the shadow side would be, you can just drop just a touch of grey and just add a little bit more interest, but no detail. So another coat of Aurelian and violet to fade off as it comes down. This is just a wet brush. Then with the same mixture of Aurelian and violet, we can add some shape and form to this hill. Then once again with the damp brush, that's fully loaded with water. Just take the excess off, and you can feather this in. And if you take the excess water off, shouldn't create a run back or a cauliflower. Then we can leave that to dry a moment. Okay, we come to these first set of trees here, and with a rigger brush I'm just going to put the tree trunks in. This is a mixture of cobalt blue and burnt sienna to give it a soft grey colour. Turn the brush on its side. We'll now create a tiny bit of foliage. Take your time doing this. See, not a great deal of detail. Cobalt blue and burnt umber. Just test it. Hope my arm's not in the way. Tree trunks just a little thicker. Extend them just down here. So again, turn the brush on its side. And we'll just put some darker leaves in. And with a damp rigger brush again, take the excess water off. We'll use what's in the tree trunks just to attach them to the ground. It's all still damp, but it's just dry enough that we can get this tree in. And this is just raw sienna. This is a mixture of Prussian blue and Aurelian with burnt umber. Add this in. Then into that, this is a really dark mixture of the Prussian blue, Indian yellow and burnt umber. And we're just going to drop this in really dark, just on one side, and sort of let it drift. Put some bark texture on that you see, it just adds more interest. Just like some Aurelian on the top around here. Just re-wet this area around the rocks. Just drop some of your green mixture in. Soften the edge off. Just re-wet the area. Prussian blue, Aurelian and burnt umber. Darker mix, which is just more blue and it's just more burnt umber. Where the stones are, or where the stones will be. Okay, now I'll just give this section a little dry, and I've re-wet this again just to keep it damp. We're going to just pop in maybe something, a few leaves. This is just the tip of the brush. A darker mixture of the same colour, just with more blue added and a touch more burnt umber. And we can add this in. It's only a suggestion that something is growing here. Try to leave some of the yellow showing. We can leave that to dry. Okay, I've just re-wet the bridge so it's quite fluid. To that, I just want to drop some greys and browns and all sorts of colours really. This is ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just dropped in some light red with ultramarine, some purple in, some burnt umber slightly added to it. A bluey grey of cobalt blue, burnt sienna. Into nothing. Just different colours. Kitchen towel. Just lift some out. Just wash that out and we can leave that to dry. Now the bridge is dry, what we'll do is we'll just put some Prussian blue and burnt umber. I'll just put in the shadow side of the bridge underneath it. This brick wall that supports the bridge. And we'll come back to this tree, but I'm going to turn the board around first because it's easier. Now we've got the board upside down with that really dark mix underneath. We're going to just add a little bit of green to the side of it. I'm going to really put the branches in nice and dark. Helps to give them a little wiggle. I'll just do a few. just, because it's repetitive, and you just build your branches up just like so. Just keep going until you think your tree has got enough branches on it. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you've got all your branches in that look like something like that, and then we'll go to number 2 rigger, and with the cobalt blue and burnt umber, very gently we'll just put some leaves on this, just a hint. It doesn't want to come off. Okay, try that. Very gently, just puts a few leaves on top. It's only an indication. We can start to pick out some of the crack lines on this bridge. Like I say, I'll do a few, as this is a bit repetitive. Right, I've re-wet the water area, leaving a couple of blank spaces for the waterfalls here, but I've not gone all the way back to the banking on the back side of there. What I want to do is just put some sparkle on that. So this is a mixture of cobalt blue and burnt sienna, and I'm going to squeeze, if you can see that, the brush flat. Lovely paint on your fingers. And then just gently place the brush down, pull it across, creating some river sparkle, hopefully. The rest of this can be wet into wet, where it's all been wet. Just going to add a touch of cobalt blue. Sorry, just where that tree is, we'll just drop in a reflection, dark reflection under the bridge. Of the bridge, maybe, and then we're going to leave that to dry. Okay, the water's gone dry a bit now. I've just peeled off some of the masking fluid that I put on just to keep the tips white, and I've just gone around them with some a dark colour, and we're just going to paint the rocks. Now I've re-wet the rocks all over, and I'm just adding colour really at the moment. We'll put shape and form in. Now this is the mixture of the cobalt blue and violet. It's just going in, it's just burnt sienna in as well. Same here. Re-rock, otherwise it will all merge together. Just take a really dark, just add some of that in. I will be lifting one or two bits out with a paper towel. Wet these two rocks here, cobalt blue and violet, burnt sienna in as well. A little bit of the dark colour. Same to the rest here. Wet this. Drop some colour. Create some shapes. Some burnt sienna again. Some dark. Damp brush. Do the same to every other rock. This one darker on the bottom. To wait for some of them to dry before we move on to filling the rest in. A little bit of encouragement. Prussian blue and a burnt umber. Just lift a little bit of the colour out. Shape the top of the rock, taking some paint out. Just where you think the sun would catch it. Then we need for them to dry a little bit. So I'm just putting some soft cracks in first on the rocks, just using the dark. Just emphasising where the light parts are and putting a crack in, and your rock will appear in shelves. And just continue that with the next set of rocks. We're just going to let this dry completely. Once your rocks are dry, you take your fine rigger brush and some dark, and we'll just pick out some cracks. I'll just do a few again and just get you the gist of it. You can actually see fracture lines in the paint where you've lifted it off, like so. Now with the dry brush at an angle, just take the excess paint off. This is a cobalt blue and the burnt sienna. Just very gently drag the brush over the waterfall, just to give it some movement. Same here. Just re-wet where the water is and where your rocks are. Soften out. Birds in. There we go, let's put 3 birds in. I'll have to let all that dry now, and then we'll put some wind streaks on the river. Okay, that's the final finished painting. I've just took a craft knife and just scratched in some wind lines using a small ruler, and just chipped out 1 or 2 bits of the mortar. I've signed it, so all you've got to do is mount it and frame it. And this is Slaters Bridge. Thank you very much for Gary Jones, who provided the photograph from paintmyphoto.com. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, you are more than welcome, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching.